Hey guys, welcome back to another dyno day at Detroit Garage. We've got the dyno mule. It's a 1988 Detroit 453T Silver Series. It's a junkyard dog I dragged home 3 or 4 months ago now. And we're just beating on it with the bigger injectors, different turbos. Anything I can do to get smoke-free 300 horse. We've got the 9210 injectors in, and they're 110 cc's. I've swapped out the divided housing for a 0.82 open housing on the Pulsar turbo. So here it is, all wrapped up for thermal efficiencies. And we've pulled all the stops. We put some total power in. Now that's going to make at least 10 horse, and we got turbo power. So with the turbo power and the total power, we should make 300 horse. Yeah, all joking aside, but I don't want to do this. This is bad. I'm trying to prevent this from happening. This is a 453T piston. It met its end on an 8% grade 5 years ago. Yeah. So, yeah, we pulled out all the stops. We got the big power adders here. So this dyno session, we're going to test diesel, 1000 cc and 500 cc of water meth. So straight diesel, then the water meth. And if I have enough time, I'm going to put the junkyard turbo on. It's this bad boy. It's a bigger turbo off the 6.4, and it tested out pretty good the last time I tested it. It made 272 horse and 680 foot-pounds of torque. Something like that with 100 cc injectors. But it's just a turbo for testing, and that'll tell me if I need a bigger turbo. We're gonna have to get rid of this cat valve cover. I think that's costing me at least 10 horse. We'll switch it out for a Detroit valve cover soon. I've ordered the parts, and we should have a Detroit diesel valve cover soon. All right, I'll set you down and we'll get stuff sorted and fire the mule up and get some numbers. who's the guilty party here. So we'll tighten that back up and go for another run. So that was a good run. It made, what did I get here? It made 682 foot-pounds of torque at 1500 and 258 horsepower at 2300 straight diesel. So now we're going to go on the water meth and try that. All right, well, that was a really good run. We're gonna let this cool down now. And I got just enough time to pull this turbo off and try the junkyard dog. It's gonna be a hot job to pull this off. But we made really good numbers. Not as good as I thought. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Just show you guys something here. Look how clean that turbine is. The tips are carbon free and the heat plate in behind is shiny. There's no carbon on it. So it's running super clean. Well, that's certainly impressive. There is 0 carbon in that, nothing. So that's an hour run today on the 9210s. Very nice indeed. So we're going to install the junkyard dog and see how it responds to the 9210s. This turbo here is running up to its maximum capacity. It's putting out air 300 degrees now. So it's getting pretty hot. So we're spinning it up near the edge of the map, I think. It is cleaning the manifold. Jesus, look at that. That's impressive. Really nice. All right, there it is, cobbled together. We'll see how this performs. All right, so we ran the Pulsar for 1.1 hours, so 1 hour and 6 minutes, and we ran the Borg Warner for 36 minutes. And my limiting factor on this is now my dyno brake cooling again. It's getting warmer out, and even with my little cooler, the water temp's up to 140 degrees, so getting way too hot. So we had to make that last run pretty quick. So maybe not such a good idea to test 2 turbos. Anyway, the Pulsar with the open housing on diesel made 258 horse and 682 foot-pounds. So 258 at 2300 and 262 at 1500. Boost was peak boost was 26 psi, airbox and drive were 37, and then with the torque test it was 20 psi across the board. The inlet to the intercooler was 300 degrees, the outlet 140. And with the 500cc injector, it was 262 horse at 2300, and boost was 26, airbox and drive were 37. And the max torque was 690 foot-pounds at 1500 RPM. Again, the boost was 20 psi across the board. Max EGT reached on this test was 925 degrees was the peak temperature I reached. The 1000cc did very well. Did 272 horse at 2300 and 715 foot-pounds at 1500. So the divided housing, believe it or not, did slightly better. I'd have to go, I'll put it in the comment section below in the video. I'll go through my notes. I didn't bring them with me, but I think it did slightly better on the water meth than the with the divided housing. All right, so that's that one. Now to the Borg Warner, the junkyard dog. On 1000cc, okay, let's do diesel first. So on diesel, straight diesel, it didn't perform all that good. It did 236 horse at 2300 RPM and 638 foot-pounds at 1800 RPM. And the boost numbers were 23 psi turbo boost, airbox was 27, and back pressure was 24. So that's an improvement. But 1000 EGTs, I think it was on that 1000. It's slightly higher than the Pulsar. Yeah. For the 500cc water meth, it did 272 horse at 2300 and 624 foot-pounds of torque at 1800. So the Borg Warner, the torque went up to 1800 instead of 15 with the bigger turbine. Peak boost was 23, turbo, airbox was 32, and drive was 28. 950 degrees I got written here. Max torque was 624 foot-pounds at 1800, and the boost was 17 psi across the board. And then lastly, the 1000cc, wow, that really pulled nice. Made 282 horse at 2300, and peak boost was 24 psi, airbox 35 and drive 30. And max torque was 704 foot-pounds at 1800 and 23 psi across the board. Inlet temperatures to the intercooler were 275 and 134 coming out. And we reached a top temperature on the engine of 190 degrees coolant, and the oil was 210. So really good numbers, but the Pulsar hands down is a better turbo than that big 364. Very close. With the water meth, the numbers are better with the, well, they're not better. They're 10 horsepower more with the big turbo, and 10 horsepower more, but 10 foot-pounds less torque. So there you go, guys. 2 turbos tested in one go. Hopefully that's not too much information in this video, but we're gonna go with that. For the future, I think this is coming off the dyno this week. I have to pull it off for a couple of weeks while I test this engine here. I've just run out of time. I wanted to do the bypass for the blower and advance the timing on the cam timing. But what I'm going to do is pull it off, advance the cam timing, do some tests with it, and then do the blower bypass. And my camshaft comes in for this bad boy, the 353, this week, and or this coming week on Monday. So I have to finish this off and break it in on the dyno. So I want to get this finished before I go away. I go away on holidays for 12 days. Well, there you have it, guys. Another great dyno session. This turbo overall is a pretty nice turbo, but it's just still too big for the fueling I've got. I mean, if you didn't have any money, this is all you had, yeah, you could run it, but it's going to be a bit of a dog on the highway. Overall, this is the turbo to go with. It shines in just about every area of the performance. It's really nice. So very happy with this. I mean, the only other turbo between this and that 364 is the 363, and that is a 63 millimeter compressor and a 68 millimeter turbine wheel. I don't know, but the numbers are close. So boy, you know, you're really splitting hairs here. Would a 363 be any better? This one pulls really hard down low, and that's kind of what you want. You want a turbo that's clean and pulls really good. So this does it all. Good horsepower and really nice bottom end. So 282 horse is the top power I've made so far, and I think we're gonna see 290 once I bypass that blower. So should be a lot of fun. Anyway, the next session we're gonna do is working on the 353. I've got to finish this off, get it on the dyno, break it in, and have the customer come pick it up, and he'll be a happy man. So should be a lot of fun anyway to beat on the little 353. So again, guys, thanks for checking in, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.